Hello my friends, and welcome back to the Ascension Mastery video series. In this lesson, we will talk about the rules of separateness and unity and the hierarchy of creational light. If you haven't watched the lesson about duality, I highly recommend that you do so now because it will definitely help you understand the content of this lesson much better. So, stay tuned. First, we'll discuss the hypothetical part of the hierarchy of creation and the experience of separateness, and only then I can tell you what you can practically do with this information to your day-to-day experience. If we take the physical aspect of creation, we're going to see that there is an object-oriented approach to life. And what I mean is that universes contain galaxies, which contain solar systems, which contain planets, and this breakdown is a repetitive structural breakdown that continues until the subatomic elements. Each larger element contains or embeds smaller elements of light on a physical level. Now, let's assume something that has already been proven by both science and spirituality. Everything is a single particle that is displayed as multiple particles. In science, this is actually determined by the rules of quantum physics. And when I say everything is one, I'm not talking only about people. I'm talking about absolutely everything. Our cells, planets, plants, animals, galaxies, rocks, everything is light, love, and consciousness. And that is the fundamental building block of life. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing, because a lot of people think that love is an emotion and that love is not a type of energy, but it really is. Now, inside this oneness, we, as a type of spirit, have chosen to experience different degrees of separateness from each other. The one larger particle, which we all can call all that is, has actually broken itself down, and with that, its energy and its power, or its divine light. The different levels of separateness experience different sizes of the original creational energy, which I will expand upon in the coming minutes. Now, try to imagine one infinite point of divine or concentrated divine light that actually broke itself down to the multiverse. And each multiverse broke its divine light into the universes. And each universes broke itself down to the galaxies, and each galaxy to the star system, and each star system or sun to the planets, and each planet to the different groups of people, and down to each separated human individual experience. To simplify this, I can give you the example of the material which I just did, but later we're going to discuss the metaphysical and the spiritual and the energetic breakdown, which is a little bit different. On each different level, like from a galaxy to a solar system or to a planet, the remaining separate smaller particle, in this point the planet or the sun, has less and less divine light from the original spark of divine light, of unlimited divine light. You can also think about this as a movement from a single point of light, and the further away you go or the further back you go, you see less and less of that divine light. In other words, the original light seems further and further away from you the deeper you go into the level or the hierarchy of creational light. Now, each large particle remains connected to all the children particles by different forces. For example, on the physical level, a planet actually feels the gravity of the sun, of its star. A planet is also affected by the changing energy of its sun. Our sun, for example, creates the seasons in this way. So we are connected to it. Now, the further away we are, the less we feel the effect. So our planet is connected to the sun. The sun actually rotates around the center of the Milky Way galaxy. So we don't feel that as human beings. We are more affected by the sun. Now, the center of the Milky Way galaxy affects our sun by sending different vibrations or different frequencies and affects it. And this, by the way, is the reason for the recent accelerated ascension that we're all feeling ever since 2012. Because our sun is actually completing a 75,000-year cycle around the center of the galaxy. Now, each larger particle was still connected to the smaller particles and contains them. But the smaller the particle, the less of this divine light it actually has so it didn't even remember its origin. Each particle has a purpose. Each particle has sort of a job or a destiny. They move in different time zones, so the larger something is, time works differently for it. For example, in our nature, animals that are bigger live longer lives. Their heart beats slower, their metabolism is slower, their breath is much longer. The smaller an animal is, it breathes much faster, it lives a shorter lifespan, and so you can understand it's all relative. Now, imagine this small comparison only on a much greater scale of the entire universe. So, all particles in this hierarchy, whether small or huge, they're connected one with the other on the physical level. Like a person that lives on a planet or a planet that circles a star, but also on a metaphysical level. For example, did you know that beyond the 7 chakra systems that we're all very familiar with, there are 5 more chakras that are outside of the body that connect our energetic bodies and the outside of our physical body to different connections. For example, one of them is to the planet, one of them is for the solar system, one of them is for the galaxy itself, another one connects us to the universe. For example, the one that is right above our head connects us to our aura and to the earth itself. This is the one that we sometimes pick up other people's emotions and thoughts when they're close enough to us. The one that is a little bit higher than that connects us to our sun. You can say the fatherly energy of the sun. The one that is above that connects us to the galaxy, and the one above that connects us to the universe, and there's one more that connects us to all that is. In other words, not to anything that is physical, but to everyone connected. It's also called the universal self. But the hierarchy of creation hides many more wonders. Now, since we are living this separate experience, it is hard for us to see outside of ourselves. But on an energetic level, our destiny is intertwined with larger elements. And what do I mean? For example, let's bring up the subject of destiny. When we think about destiny, we always think about our own destiny, because naturally, we're very interested in what happens to us. And this is why this generation is actually called the selfish generation. Why? Because we're kind of like selfish. Each person does have a destiny and a role to play, but when 2 people come together to create a family, for example, the family, which is a bigger element than the single or the individual, has its own energy as a unit of energy. The family has its own lessons to learn, its own challenges, its own destiny and fate. So a few people that come together create a different, bigger energetic element that contains us with a larger quantity of divine light. And to continue with destiny, what about a spiritual family, which is the souls that we are contracted with to have created experience, to learn lessons together, and to grow not only in one life, but over a span of multiple lives? The spiritual family is a larger set of people that also has a destiny, intention, and designated challenges that are going to help them grow and expand together. The same thing can be said about an entire religion or an entire civilization that probably has many spiritual families. Each religion has its own unique signature and lessons. Judaism, for example, is about knowledge. Christianity is about, you can say, spirituality and faith. Muslim is about persistence. And of course, the entire planet also has a fate. It has a journey, has challenges and more, predetermined, so it has a destiny. And the hierarchy also continues to break down. So each incarnated soul has a human body. The body has organs. The organs are built out of cells. The cells have in their core the DNA. The DNA is breaking down into molecules, and the molecules are actually created from atoms, which has protons, electrons, and down there you even have quarks and things that humanity hasn't discovered yet. So there's different hierarchies on the subatomic level as well. And again, the rules apply, and they are the same. So a cell has a destiny, a designation has a job. An organ has a destiny, has a designation, has a job, and it aligns itself. Now, what happens to people or individuals who work much more on their spirituality? They actually raise their vibration, and they have a bigger influence on the particles and the elements that are above them. So you will have more influence, your intention will mean more in your spiritual family. you'll understand much more, you'll become more aware. And let's get a little bit more practical with this information. So first, I want to explain to you the alignment principle in case you don't really understand it yet. To understand alignment, we need to understand that the smaller particles align to the intention and the destiny of the bigger one. In other words, I was born into Judaism, and like I told you guys, Judaism is about knowledge. As I align and let go of the control that I think I have, trying to be something that I'm not, I will feel and see that synchronicities don't really align to me. Now, the organs in our body align to our intention. And that means, by the way, the placebo effect is used by the person that believes that he's actually taking a pill that is going to help him. That belief system creates the intention, and the emotions and the feelings and the organs of the body actually align to that as well. And what does that teach us? It teaches us that we have so much control over everything that is below us in the hierarchy. So our DNA is actually listening to us, but in the same time, it teaches us that there is something that is called the divine alignment, or something that is called the divine will. In other words, we are a part of a plan, a part of a story, and sometimes we need to let go of the ego and the control that we think we have, because it has been proven to us many, many times in the past that we don't really have much control. And the story has already been written for us. All we have to do is let go of the struggle, and sort of like, a block of wood that is thrown into the river, go with the flow. Follow the path of least resistance. So that's the principle of alignment in a very quick, fundamental way. Now, what happens when we meditate more? What happens when we clear our mind? We actually get into a state that we are less separate and more with the intention of the elements that are above us. In other words, we let go of the control that we think we have, because our mind wants to interfere, saying that it knows better. But our mind is also ego-oriented, ego-driven, and that means that our mind also creates the fears that are in our life. And this brings me to the next question. How do we increase the amount of divine light that we have? Now, you remember, we said that there was one point of divine light, infinite point, and that broke down and broke down and broke down, and the further away we were, and as human beings, we are very, very far away, we can see a very, very, far away point of light. How can we increase that divine light that we have, that flow? We meditate and we clear our mind. When we meditate and clear our mind, we allow the alignment that we have to be created in a more harmonious way. Now, how can we actually increase the amount of divine light that we have? The answer to that is trust and flow. And what do I mean? We trust and we flow the intention with the alignment of the things that are above us. If, for example, we're talking about connecting to our spiritual group, it's to understand that we have a job, we have a destiny, we have a designation. And if things around us are in synchrony and in harmony in our life, then we understand that we are walking that path. But honestly, most of the population, or the human population right now, has an issue with that. Why? Because we're not following our path. And therefore we have suffering, the opposite of living. Suffering doesn't mean it's physical, but it's about the challenges that we face. Relationship challenges, job challenges, abundance challenges. When everything is aligned, and we flow with the alignment of the things that are above us, for example, the destiny of the partnership that we are in, or the part of our spiritual group, or understanding our body, commanding and communicating with the things that are below us, and aligning our intention towards health and prosperity, and on all these things, then everything seems to work out in every field in our life. The second thing that happens when we start aligning and practicing this is we get to see the bigger picture. And what do I mean? It's not that we try to control our life more. It's that we let go of the struggle, we let go of the control, and then suddenly we realize that we are not who we claim to be. We let go of the ego's hold of who we truly are, and then we become who we truly are. And who we truly are is unlimited possibilities. And there are unlimited potential futures for us to become who we truly are. We start to distinguish between the destiny and the free will. We understand that free will is limited, even though we think that it's not limited. And we start following those big things that we need to go through in our life. Those things that we predetermined or we contracted with our higher self or with our guides before we were born to go through. So that's aligning ourselves to the intention. So my friends, I think I made it clear. I hope I gave enough examples of this. This is very, very important. When you understand this, you understand some of the key principles in life. Understanding alignment, understanding that you are limited in the amount of creational light that you have unless you let go and you align with something that is bigger than you are. And then you have more of the creational light itself. The best thing I can tell you is that right now, we are in the negative duality. In other words, we are the opposite of light. We are so far away from creational light that we forgot that we are light itself. And the process of ascension or ascending is actually remember who we truly are and remembering that we are the light. We are God's path. We are the expression and the experience all of us wanted to do together. So, namaste, my friends. I hope to see you in the next video. If you want to sign up to my newsletter or check out some of my workshops, go to raymaor.com. Namaste, and I will see you in my next video.